I'm really gonna have to hold myself back from making a ton of references to the song House Tour in this video, but welcome! Did somebody ask for a room tour? Oh, hello there. Quick, come inside. Welcome to my humble abode. For now. Hey guys, it's Holly, and it is that time of year where usually I will give you a little tour of my office space and my Lego rooms and my setup. And this one's gonna be particularly fun because a couple of months ago I did end up moving, so I have a little bit more to show you space-wise in regards to where I've actually shown my Lego, which is really fun. However, there are a couple of Lego bits within the living room as well as my bedroom, which I will show you as well, but the main room we are going to be focusing on is this one. Now, this current office is probably the most efficient use of space that I have ever had in terms of like a working environment slash Lego room, which is really awesome because I feel like I'm really starting to optimize my space. I've started to think of it more as like a workshop than a Lego room, and it has been really beneficial in terms of like planning and figuring things out, and also just having enough space to work on multiple projects at the same time. I did film a little moving vlog when I first moved in here, and from then until now, there have been actually quite a few changes in terms of like furniture and layout, and it's still not perfect specifically in like the Lego building department section, but I am working on that. However, I did get a new filming desk, which has been really, really helpful. And that is what I want to start with because it is kind of like the main thing and it just sits in the middle of the room. In case you didn't notice, this desk has quite a demanding presence in the space. But I'm really glad that that is the case because I had wanted to have like a filming table set up that I could have and then have me like stand or sit behind it and then see my shelves and like my beautiful background, and this works perfectly for that. If you watched any of my previous room tours, you might remember I used to have a white standing desk, and that was by a company called FlexiSpot, and I still have that. You will see it later. But this desk is also by FlexiSpot. They actually sent me this one, however, and I am so much happier with it than the white one. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first being that this is significantly longer, so I can actually set up a ton of other things, which is really helpful for filming because I can put the set that I'm kind of focusing on or the model right in the middle of the desk, and then I can also have stuff on the outside that I have to film next or upcoming projects, or even just like things like my drinks. I have like 3 drinks on the go at all times for the most part, so it is really handy to have them on the desk and not be in line with the camera. It's also been much more convenient when it comes to things like my microphone. I actually have my mic arm mounted to the desk and then my Shure mic is on it, which I upgraded recently. This desk is from the E6 range, which is also a much more upgraded version of the one that I used to have, which I'm very glad about because if I start to build bigger things, I feel like this table is going to support the weight a little bit more than the other one could have. Also, the standing function is way smoother. And FlexiSpot also very kindly let me pick which desk I wanted, which is why I went for this super long one. I basically picked like the longest length. It isn't quite as deep as the last one, but I don't really mind that for filming. I still feel like I have more than enough space. And also it means that there is more space actually like leaving the room for one that is like in the middle of the space. But the biggest difference by far is the fact that I no longer have a white countertop. The white was really cool, but I feel like I got a lot of reflection off the lights in the back of my bookshelves, and I feel like this maple color is way better at kind of neutralizing the colors of all of the Lego models and having everything look really clean. Now, I know that recently like the trend is to have like a solid paper background. I'm not about that. Especially the yellow ones, I feel like it makes everything look a little sickly. I would much rather have this little like nice maple counter with my lights in the background and my stuff and kind of have like, I don't know, a little bit more personality, but still have everything look really clean. Not to mention the fact that I also did way better cable management this time around. It just looks way cleaner. I just need to figure out what I'm gonna do with the power cable because the bottom corner where like my light is over here is a little messy right now, but I'll get to that later. Right now I've got it in the standing position, which I've ended up saving on the keypad. So whenever I film a video, I can just set it to be the exact same height every single time, which is fantastic. After using my last FlexiSpot desk, I am not going back to a regular desk for filming. These standing desks are fantastic. So thank you to FlexiSpot for upgrading my desk and sponsoring this video. I will leave a link to them as you can order them off Amazon. That's what I did with my last one. I highly recommend them if you're in the mood for a standing desk. Then behind it, we have my desk chair. This thing I bought off Amazon and it sucks. So often when I'm sat at my desk, I will sit at an awkward angle. It's probably not very good for my posture. I'm working on it. But when I sit, I'll often sit like this and then I sit up and I realize like my entire chair has twisted because it's not just me sitting sideways in the chair anymore. Like the whole chair is coming with me. It's not great. So that's on my upgrade list. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, but I really want to get a new one. Usually with these types of videos, like I will leave links on Amazon to like like pretty much all of the stuff that I have in my setup in case someone wants it, but I am not linking this chair. I don't recommend it. If anyone has any recommendations that aren't like the $3,000 Herman Miller chairs, I'm very open. I would love to know. But let's move over to the bookcases, shall we? Get out the way. Like most things in life, I try to be super unique and original and interesting, which is why I have a shelf that no one else has to display my Lego on. It's a custom setup by a Swedish designer, and it's kind of hard to get a hold of, but I'm gonna tell you anyway out of the goodness of my heart. It is from a brand called IKEA, and it is their Billy bookcase. I don't care that everyone else has this. I like them, okay? That being said though, the fact that I did customize them with the lights is the best thing I ever did. I will continue to do this in every single Billy bookcase I have. I love the way it looks. Now, if you didn't know, the way that I do the lighting is with Philips Hue light strips. Now, it is so much easier to do this when you are installing the bookcases for the first time because you have to drill holes in the back corner in order to thread the lights through. Now, the way that I've ended up doing this is by basically getting this light strip and sticking it on the inside of the door all the way up. These light strips are expensive, okay? There is no getting around that. Thankfully, I got 2 of mine on clearance. The little power boxes I like stuck in the top corners, and that is basically how I lit up my bookcase. It's fantastic. And then all of the cables and stuff I threaded through the back of the bookcases, and they are sat at the very top. Now with these shelves specifically as well, I did put the extenders on the top, which are also open just like this one. So I focused on putting things that I don't really care about them getting dusty. So things like my books. I have a book nook up there that my friend Charity got me, which we built when she was visiting in the end of June, which was really fun. My Padme Amidala Funko Pop in a protective case, as well as my favorite mystery machine, which I probably should put in something so it doesn't get dusty, but it's been out for years now. I feel like it's fine. I also have my Eevee Mega Bloks Pokemon, which is really fun. And then I have my like children's Glinda crown that hurts my head every single time I wear it. Turns out they do adult ones now, except it's like $100, so I'm not buying it. At the very top of the extenders as well, I have some more things that, again, I don't really care about them getting dusty. Now, the thing with these shelves, at least when you're looking at it right now, they look really complete. They look styled, they look gorgeous. That is the case for most of the shelves until we get to like the bottom 2. In many of my room tours, I have used the phrase dumping shelf. Now, that is exactly what these bottom 2 shelves are. Thankfully, when I'm recording, you can't see it, which is really, really important. A recent addition to my shelf, which is still currently not in its like ideal spot, is the Sydney architecture set. I want to have like one of each little architecture sets from all the countries that I've lived in. Then we have the rest of the shelves. Now, some of these are very similar to what I had previously, and then others I have completely switched up. So one that I have switched up is firstly the little Harry Potter section. So I used to have Gringotts and Diagon Alley all set up, and now I have the playset Diagon Alley as well as Malfoy Manor. I really like the Malfoy Manor set, and I wanted to put it up on display and give it some love. And the thing that kind of fit next to it and worked well was the playset Diagon Alley. So that gets a spot. Then we have my 2 little Disney shelves. Now, I like to kind of group things together where possible, which is exactly the case with these Disney ones. So firstly, I have the Disneyland Castle, the Steamboat Willie promo, the little Simba, which I personally prefer to the big Simba. He very much grew on me, which was quite fun. And then down the end, I have the mountain portion of the Nightmare Before Christmas set. Usually at Halloween, I will put the whole thing up, but I leave this section up all year round, and it actually has a Light My Bricks light kit in it still, so I can turn it on, although I honestly very rarely do. Then moving down, we have a large portion of my Disney minifigure collection, which I love. I love these guys. It's on a Wicked brick stand, which is their like half width one for the Billy bookcase. And then the Snow White Cottage fits perfectly next to it. I love these direct-to-consumer 18+ Disney princess sets. They are the best. Snow White's cottage is gorgeous. The Beauty and the Beast castle is gorgeous, which I also have on display just at the very bottom of this open one. And then the last little bit of the Disney section is the Disney Ideas set. Part of this broken off and the minifigures are kind of all over the place. I haven't put it back together. Then next to it is some of the most recent additions because I just found that it fit perfectly in this gap, and it is the Munchkin Land house from the Wicked for Good wave. I love this set. This is one of my favorites out of the Wicked sets that they have done. I think it's so much fun and it's so bright and colorful that I really feel like it ties in with the Disney stuff really well. And then I also put it next to my custom K-Town Bricks Hamilton figures. I love these guys, and it kind of just like makes me feel like it's a little musical theater corner. Moving on to the left-hand side, and we have by far my favorite shelf out of this entire setup, and that is I guess I call it the Barbie shelf. It's definitely a lot more than that, but it's the Barbie shelf. I've said this before, ever since I bought this Western Barbie doll when the Barbie movie came out, I've been obsessed. That is definitely one of my favorite things that I have purchased over the last few years. And then I couldn't just get the dolls, I also had to get the Funko Pops. And then I had to go and make a bunch of custom figures and then bought some custom figures as well. So I just have this whole little Barbie setup going on. Although I also have like a Mega Bloks Corvette that I've built that I probably should put on this shelf as well, but now I don't have any space because I went and added some Wicked stuff. When the Wicked merch came out last year, I was obsessed and I really wanted to get this Glinda doll, but I held off. And then there was the whole drama with the website and the boxes and that whole fiasco, and I still didn't get it. And then she was out of stock for a while. Then, lo and behold, on Amazon very recently, she was 40% off. So I paid $25 for this Glinda doll. I was very happy. She fits perfectly, almost. The crown kind of scrapes the top. I also bedazzled her wand. I like upgraded it. I really want to paint the crown to be like metallic as well. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna try. But that's not all, because I realized that the Wicked art set fits perfectly in this like section of shelf. So I've now put that at the back. So it kind of just ties everything together. This whole setup, I love the color scheme, the tones, everything ties in together. It also is the most different from all of the other shelves and incorporates like one of my favorite things, which is like having other collectibles and like stuff alongside Lego. Now I've mentioned this quite a few times, so apologies if you've already heard this story, but firstly, we have the Icons Senna MP4-4 McLaren. I love this set. The second I saw it, I had to buy it. You don't know why? Because I am a child of the McLaren Formula One team, basically. Not really, I'm a grandchild of it, but still, it counts. And my grandpa has multiple photos when he worked at his time at McLaren, including one where he's literally standing right next to him, which I have been meaning to print out and put in the background, similar to how like the Wicked art's behind it. However, I haven't done that. Then at the bottom, I have a range of other more modern McLarens, including my fully bedazzled Speed Champions McLaren. This took me like 6 hours to do, and then I brought it to the Miami Grand Prix, which was the first F1 race I ever attended. I also got the exclusive Miami printed tile, which I put Oscar on. Then I have the poly bag, the blind box, as well as the little tile from Austin, which my friend Josh from Josh Builds Stuff gave me very kindly because he had an extra. So thank you, Josh. Then next to it, I stuck one of my little car mounts on the back of the shelf so I could hang up the slightly older McLaren model, which I feel like just works really well. I love having stuff just kind of taking up the back of the shelf. It really adds a ton of layers and makes the setup look way more interesting. I highly recommend it if you haven't tried putting like artwork or like levels and risers and things like that. It's changed my shelves. As we head down, we have the Star Wars section of my shelf, starting off with my prequels shelf, which is more so a Padme Amidala shrine. I have 2 shrines on my shelf. It's kind of embarrassing. I have a range of my Padme Amidala minifigures, including some custom ones as well as some official ones. I don't have everything on here though, because I do have the rest of them in with my regular Star Wars minifigure setup, but I tried to keep them all together. A lot of the customs come from either Grandpa Clone Customs or Orbital minifigures, and then I also have one of my own in here, which is this Padme on the right, and then Printer Toner Customs did the one on the left. And then moving down, we have a lot more space to work with on my Clone Wars shelf. I have a range of different Ahsoka things, which I've kind of split up with like season 7, as well as like her usual kind of Clone Wars outfit. And then in the middle, we kind of have some like prequel trilogy stuff that just didn't fit on the other shelf, and it wasn't Queen Amidala, so it felt like it should have gone somewhere else. Also, Vader's lightsabers in here. Not that it really matches. Honestly, this shelf is kind of a little bit of a jumble of things, but still, it's a work in progress. I have space for more stuff, which is exciting. And it looks better than the 2 at the bottom, so that's all that matters. The last section of this room is my build station. Now this has recently changed. Beforehand, this used to be 2 Alex drawers side by side with these drawers on top. However, when I upgraded my desk with the Flexi Spot one, I moved the older one to this section, which is great. Now, unfortunately, because this desk is like super small, I couldn't put both drawers underneath side by side. So I have one drawer underneath and the other kind of just like tucked on the side sideways. It's not the most efficient thing, but because I've been upgrading all of my Lego storage to the 3D printed ones that Tiago Catarino designed, incredible. I love them. I'm like replacing everything. But it means that I can take out like individual containers like this one and just put them on the desk for when I'm building. I've got so much sorting to do though, so it's kind of a bit of a mess at the moment. ignore that. But it's great because of the fact that this is also a standing desk. I can have it at standing height and I can stand and build, which I'm very, very happy with and a very big fan of. And then if I wanted to as well, I can bring it down and sit and I can still access the drawers. It's taking me a very long time to upgrade it because of the fact that I have 2 full units and one of my printers is currently out of action, but I am getting through it and it's been fantastic. I just have so much sorting to do. I have an entire bag that I need to get through and I don't know when I'm going to be able to either. I just wish the desk was longer so I could put both sets of drawers underneath. Eventually I will do that, and then I don't know what I will do with this third desk that I would then have. I think that is going to be like the optimal kind of Lego building, Lego sorting setup. And that is pretty much everything in this room. However, I have more stuff displayed in my bedroom. This corner of my bedroom is most of like the rest of the Lego stuff. There really isn't a ton, but it contains my favorite Lego display that I have ever made, and that is my Formula One grid wall. So after I'd gotten the Speed Champion sets, I knew I wanted to hang them up on the wall, so I 3D modeled these little wall mounts that I've just stuck up with command strips. I have them for sale as well on my website, HollyOnFilm.com, and I've made a ton of videos about this wall, so you've probably already seen it, but it is my favorite thing ever. But even though I have the numbers, I still like to switch them around every once in a while based on like who's won for the week, or even like the Constructors Championship, which is currently the order that I have. Then directly next to it is my Kallax unit from IKEA, which I actually recently put some drawers in just for more storage. However, I still have my Star Wars minifigure display set up on there. I haven't put in the front acrylic window yet. I have it with me. I just don't know where I put the screws, so I haven't been able to assemble it together again, which kind of sucks. And then right on top is my most recent Disney castle, which I'm actually really bummed about because Disney announced that they're gonna paint the castle back to its original colors. So this one's now gonna be outdated, but this like model looks way better than the original. So I don't know, I'm a little bummed, to be honest. Then next to it as well, I have a candle and my perfume and a couple of like my little custom figures. The only real other thing in this unit is my vinyl collection as well as my Dyson Airwrap. So it's really, really not too exciting. I guess there's also another one of those blind box McLarens on the wall with like a hook that I made to hang up my McLaren hat. But that's it. Like, it's a minimal amount of Lego and I feel like it's styled really nicely. It's not overwhelming, but also like I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, no, I don't want any of my Lego in my bedroom. Like, nah, I think it's a cool display piece. I'm going to have some. Not a ton, but like I still want some. And then last but certainly not least, I have my Technic Ferrari in the living room because it just fits perfectly in the TV unit that I'm currently using. I absolutely love it. I was originally planning on selling this set, but I had such a fun time building it and I think it looked so cool that I just can't get rid of it. Eventually, I want to make a wall mount for that one as well, but for now, it's staying there. And that is my entire setup. It's still far from perfect, but I feel like there have been some very significant upgrades that I have had in terms of like trial and error and also just having space now, which is really nice. Like I mentioned earlier, I will leave links down in the description below for a lot of the things that I have in my setup, as well as of course the Flexi Spot desk. Thank you again to them for sponsoring today's video. And if you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel down below, and until next time, I'll see you later.